Hello, hello. Tristan. Hello, Tristan. Can you hear me? Because I lost one stream and I've been playing around with this for the last few hours. There's been definitely a delay in what I'm doing and what YouTube's receiving, which apparently is normal, but I don't know if like it's a much bigger delay than it should be. But can you hear me? Sam James, yo to you. Tristan, you can hear me. That's good. Can everyone else hear me? Because it's not just like, the Jamie and Tristan one-on-one show. Swallow the Clouds can hear. Good evening, Trevor Random. Don't X-Blink, you can hear me too. That's good. That's very good. Right, in that case, I don't know what the delay's like, but it can't be too bad because you're answering me. I've got like an introduction that I was going to play at the start because that's what you do with an introduction, isn't it? I'm working this out as I go along. But I wanted to check in first to make sure you can hear me, which you all seem to be able to do. Trevor, I will turn up the mic. What I'll do is I'll play this intro. Unfortunately, it's got like a 3-minute countdown, so go and get like whatever time of day it is, wherever you are, go and get a coffee, a tea, or a sambuca, and we will start this properly in 3 minutes. So there's going to be an exciting countdown that I made myself using Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm not affiliated with them in any kind of way. It's just my editing software of choice, although no editing software is really of choice for me because it is my pet hate in the production world. But yeah, anyway, if I keep talking, that'll be like the end of the show, and I won't even have started the show. So, Mark, go! Good, loud and clear. I did turn it up a little bit, Trevor, so that should be better as well now. Yeah, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Jamie said he was going to start the show, but we're still waiting. So I will do that now. Here comes the countdown, 3 minutes, and then we'll do this show properly. go. So after the 3-minute countdown, which was then going to launch into an exciting introduction graphic that I spent about 2 days creating, I cut it short. So I hope you enjoyed the countdown that led to nothing apart from my face. Welcome to the first Geeknd Live. It's the end of the internet as we know it. A lot has gone wrong in the build up to this, not just with me cutting off the actual titles, but I've spoken to a few of you in the chat, the live chat already, and I know you can hear me. I'm keeping an eye on the messages. I think there is a delay, but let me know if there's any problems. And if you're watching in the replay in the future, because this is kind of time travel, isn't it, essentially, then leave a comment down below and like this video, because liking's good. So if you're here live in this present moment as opposed to the future, I wonder what the future holds, then also please give this a like as well. And I don't know if it actually does anything, but apparently YouTube does like it. So there's a lot coming up in the next 30 minutes or so. I'm starting with little baby steps in the streaming world, trying to get my head around the technology side of things first, really. And also, just to bore you with something really boring, I am currently doing this in a very temporary space. I mean, life is temporary, isn't it? We're all temporary. But this physical structure around me is very temporary in terms of my presence within it. And there's no power. So everything I'm using right now, the lights, the computer, is running off their own batteries. So a lot of charging took place before I started this. So yeah, that's why another reason why I'm keeping it short to begin with until that side of things is sorted. Right then, so we've got a lot coming up, including Geek Salad. Look, I made a little graphic for this. Geek Salad. Yeah, so this is a healthy mix of my top recent stories from the week in Geek. So chat along with me. This is a discussion. Talk to me in the comments. I'll be keeping an eye on Simon Drake. I will skip to the end, or at least the people in the future do have that option. You don't. You've got to stick with me in this live present moment. But these are the stories coming up. Those Boba mini-series rumours. Do you believe it? Do you even want it? Jurassic World Dominion wraps. 40,000 COVID tests later. And to be honest, it's not a film I'm particularly excited about, but the protocols that they've spoken about, Colin Trevorrow, I can never say his surname, the director's spoken about in terms of getting that film up and running again. It was the first film to come back into production after the spring lockdown in the UK, at least. It's really interesting what they had to, put in place and go through to get that film made. So that's why I want to talk a little bit about that story. And also, will Wonder Woman be delayed again? I've lost count now. It was originally meant to come out in like November 2019, I think. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that's going to get another delay. We'll talk about that soon. Buffering. Am I buffering? Buffering's been mentioned in the chat. So yeah, they are the Week in Geek, Geek Salad, as I'm calling it for now. Everything's just for now. Also, I want this show to be about you guys as well. The community, yeah. So every week I'm going to pay homage to a subscriber. So one of which is in the chat right now. Simon Drake, you're scheduled for next week. I need to check in with you about something before I do it. But I want to pay homage. It might be someone who pops up in the comments all the time, is always there for every video, or someone who is also that, but also has done something that I think is pretty cool within the kind of Star Wars or other fandom cultures. So we're going to do something regarding a mini Star Wars documentary, not my own, at the end of the show. I haven't got a name for that yet. The community feature name yet. That's definitely never going to be the name, the community feature name. But yeah, I reckon we should get into Geek Salad. Let's all admire the graphic I made again. There it is. Oh yeah. Right. Let's start with Jurassic World. So hang on a second. Somewhere I've got a desktop. No, that's not what you want to see. Wait a second. there's all sorts of things you don't want to see on my laptop, but this is what I wanted to show you, an advert for Hyperoptic. See if you can go hyper fast today. I'm basically just providing a platform for companies I know nothing about. Jurassic World Dominion wraps unprecedented shoot after 18 months, 40,000 COVID tests, and millions spent on protocols. Colin Trevorrow and Donna Langley spoke about the emotional journey. So November 7th is actually the day they wrapped. And on that day, Colin Trevorrow described there being a lot of emotions. 40,000 COVID tests to get them through. And bearing in mind, they were already well into production. Obviously, it was halted with the lockdown in the spring. So all of these tests, of course, only happened in the last few months. Temperature checks and also millions spent on protocols, which included 150 hand sanitizers at Pinewood Studios, 60 extra sinks at Pinewood Studios. What a time to be a manufacturer of sinks. So all of these protocols that had to be put in place for the film to start again, and even then it was quite stop-start. They actually hired it says here somewhere, a private medical facility called Your Doctor to manage this side of things. So it's crazy, isn't it, to think about the costs involved with this on what was already, a pretty expensive movie. And obviously the majority of the world is pretty excited with the news on the vaccine yesterday. Obviously we're not quite there yet, but I'm thinking film executives must be more excited than most with these that are in place to get their films over the line now. And what's interesting as well was they were still able to go on location. They didn't have to build any sort of fully digital worlds for the film. They used locations in the UK and also in Malta as well. And my friend, if anyone saw my my Marvel locations video a little while back, I interviewed my friend Danny in it. He was also in the Breaking Bad video as well. He is a manager. Yes, Jawaporn is on all of my tabs that you can't see right now. He's a location manager on this film, and he got taken off it when the lockdown started. And because he's freelance, he was actually left in a little bit of trouble with that. So he was happier than most when the film came back online. But yeah, the locations they were still able to use. I just thought it's crazy, isn't it? The money on top of the money that has to be spent on a COVID production, because also they have to put the cast and crew into bubbles. It was saying, are we in trouble? Are we buffering? Or am I buffering? Turns out we're buffering. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it sounds like everybody's oh no, don't restart. Don't restart. Apparently it's going to restart. Is it better? Anton says it's better. Is it better? Joseph Hoggett, it's working, is it? Are we back on? Because I didn't do anything, technically anyway. It says YouTube is not working. Sam James, we're working. We're back online. Where was I? What was the last you heard of my my inane rambling? All right, so apparently we're back on. Apologies for that. Roger that. Right, so I don't know where we were, but Jurassic World Dominion has wrapped as of November 7th, 40,000 COVID tests later, and many, many millions more spent on hand sanitizers, 60 extra sinks at Pinewood. What a time to be a manufacturer of sinks. And also all of the cast and crew are put into bubbles in hotels. And yeah, I just think it's pretty incredible what goes into making a movie in a COVID time and place. But I think we're back, yeah? But yeah, like I said earlier, I don't know if anyone heard, but you know, film executives more than anybody might be pretty pleased by the vaccine news that came out yesterday with all these extra costs that COVID brings onto films, let alone delays, which we'll talk about as well with Wonder Woman. So this is the last blockbuster standing in 2020. And yeah, I don't know if I think for some people there's technical problems. Anton heard me mention sinks. I was talking about sinks. Um yeah, 60 sinks at Pinewood Studios. It seems that most people are getting this. So I'll carry on. Talking about delays, Wonder Woman, the last blockbuster standing in 2020. So it's scheduled for December 26th. Is it going to stick to that date? It has been delayed many times since November 2019, and that was pre-COVID, of course. There were other reasons for delaying things, would you believe, before COVID. So is Wonder Woman going to stick to that date? There is speculation already that it is going to get delayed once again. Here is another story that will probably show you inappropriate adverts as well. And Digital Spy, who have covered some of my interviews in the past. So I like Digital Spy purely for that reason. They have a pretty strong feeling that it will get delayed again. And let's be honest, even though it looks like we're going in the right direction, vaccine-wise, it's not going to save the world. Wonder Woman's not going to save the world, especially by December 26th in terms of the UK and the US release dates. You know, they're saying in the UK anyway that I think only like 10 million of the most vulnerable might get the vaccine this year. Of course, there could be other vaccines that still come in this year. But yeah, that release date's not going to stick. Also, it looks like it really hinges on the US market. Maybe, well, they've not thought about releasing this in different markets like Tenet did. It looks like this all hinges on when the US market's ready, and the article says that 50% of theatres in the US are currently closed, but big markets like LA, New York are more closed than some of the smaller markets. So that is probably going to be what it all hinges on, but I would imagine we're going to get some sort of announcement quite soon on another delay. I'll have a look in the chat. What do we think? Another delay? Tristan Peterson on Jurassic World 2. I'm not a big, like I said before, I'm not particularly excited about this film. No offense to my mate Danny, who I was talking about, the location manager, who you might remember from the Breaking Bad location video. I loved Jurassic Park. I really liked The Lost World as a kid. Wasn't so bothered about Jurassic Park 3, but the Jurassic World trilogy, as it's going on to be, I've not really been a fan of. So it's a film I'd watch on a plane quite happily. Would anyone go to a cinema in December? I personally wouldn't at the moment, but I imagine some people would. Sija Bretion, I've just murdered your name there. Wonder Woman looks really good from the trailer. Has the new Bond been delayed too? Yeah, that got delayed. That was the first film to get delayed, wasn't it? Originally getting put back to November, and now I think it's slated for April. Skywalker Sounds. Yeah, COVID has kept me and Ingrid apart. Ingrid being a Norwegian actress who played, played Princess Leia in Rogue One. I think Wonder Woman is going to be good, and I keep an eye on these release dates a lot because of the location series where they made that. I've made quite a lot of episodes. They still need editing in some places, but I'm trying to link them to movie releases. So I've got one for Black Widow, which keeps getting delayed. I've got two for James Bond, which keeps getting delayed. I've got one for Wonder Woman that keeps getting delayed. So as things stand, you're not going to see these videos ever that I've worked really hard on, although I'll probably just end up releasing them eventually. No Time to Die spoilers, please. Simon Drake says, yeah. If you've been, I think there's been some, I don't know if there've been leaks, but there's certainly been some talk about certain things with that film on the web recently. So please don't put any of that in the group for Simon. By the way, Simon is a member of the Patreon group that started recently, very early days. And as promised, I do thank the Patreons. I thank them all. But I also thank in terms of putting their names on a screen on the Geeky Minders and Geek Age fan club tiers. Simon, you are not on those tiers, but I am giving you a special thank you here now, Simon Drake. Thank you to all Patreon members. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. I will get better at this, hopefully. It's not a guarantee, but I do plan on getting a little bit better at this, keeping up with the comments and also the technology and trying to form words to leave my mouth that make some kind of sense. Welcome, Philip Hawkins. Green is not a creative colour. You were looking forward to June. Well, I hope you still are. That's been delayed as well, hasn't it? But look, 2021, I think dates that most films have been moved to in terms of 2021. I feel like they're going to stick now with this vaccine news. But Wonder Woman certainly isn't going to go to streaming only on demand. They would have done that already, wouldn't they? So with this kind of little bit of light at the end of a tunnel, I'm sure now they'll just hold on for a theatrical release, but probably not on December 26th. Who would go to a cinema? Who would go to a cinema in December if Wonder Woman did keep that release date? Skywalker Sound is asking that questions, or a separate question: are movie theatres going to actually survive after COVID? Well, it's not looking good in the UK, is it? But then again, the furlough has been extended, although cinemas had to, or a lot of cinemas did close again before that announcement. I don't know what it's like in the States, but obviously, a lot of American cinemas that are here are in the same boat. So it's certainly going to be a smaller market, isn't it? And No Time to Die was that last film that they were kind of pinning their year on, really. But as Antoine says, there will always be audiences for cinema when the world gets back to normal. But will there be cinemas for the audience? Trevor Random doesn't think they'll open again. I mean, I don't think going to a cinema will be a thing of the past, like watching traditional television will, and in many cases already is, a thing of the past. That will go eventually, apart from, big live, maybe sporting events. But I don't think cinemas will become a thing of the past. There might be less of them after all this. And Sam James there, also on the Patreon as well. Thank you, Sam James. There are a lot of big films coming out next year. It's bloated, isn't it, next year? So if they can survive until then, fingers crossed, it will be bonanza for them. Vincent J. Ives is in the group. He's just had an operation. I don't quite understand it. It's a very complicated operation. I'm sure he'll happily put more information on it in the chat if you do want to know more about Vincent J. Ives' recent operation. But good to see that you're alive. Welcome, Abdul. Good to have you here, the first edition of the Geeknd Live. As I said at the start, the internet will never be the same again. The internet hasn't really worked very well throughout this edition, although nobody's complained for a while about buffering. In Texas, in the UK at least, The Empire Strikes Back, all these years later, was at the top of the box office weeks ago. Philip Hawkins on the cinema debate. Even if they open now, I wouldn't go until the spread of this thing is under control. Need the vaccine, which, fingers crossed, we have got one, and hopefully more to come as well. So, like I said before, I think 2021. There was a time when people, I included, was talking about 2020. Can't wait for 2020 to end. Like everything will go back to normal instantly. At midnight. Deep down, knew that wouldn't be the case, but now this vaccine news does give you that kind of genuine glimmer of hope, I feel, anyway. Right, let me have a look at some of the comments that have come in. Mikey Smith there saying, hey, Mikey Smith, I need to talk to you about live streaming. You do a lot of live streaming on your channel, and I have not got a clue what I'm doing right now, so I might have to talk to you for some advice. Marco, I'm going to have to look into what you've said there. TV is dead. I agree, TV is dead. Yeah, apart from your live sporting events, which will never go away. I think traditional television as we know it is dead. Or certainly when my mum is dead, because at the moment she's keeping it all going with her Strictly Come Dancing with the Stars every Saturday night. Vince, did you see Felicity Jones says she wanted to do another Star Wars story? Sorry if you've already covered that. No, but thank you for pushing me back towards another story, because Felicity Jones has, I think it's one of those sort of throwaway comments she made in an interview that has been turned into a bit of a story that annoyingly overshadowed a story I felt I had from one of my recent interviews related to Rogue One, because obviously Felicity Jones's character Jyn couldn't appear in the Cassian Andor series, that's for sure, because when we get to Rogue One, Jyn and Cassian meet for the first time, so it wouldn't really make sense for her to pop up in a prequel, would it? But I spoke to Alistair Petrie, who plays General Draven in the most recent episode of These Are the Actors You're Looking For, and off the record, on the record, in fact, everything you saw on the record is also what he said off the record. We did discuss it before the interview started about whether he would be involved in Cassian. It makes complete sense for his character to be in Cassian. It has actually been rumoured that he'll pop up, like Jimmy Smits as well. The Irish actress who played Mon Mothma in Rogue One, I think, has actually been confirmed. So he's been talked about as well. But he says no. He says he's not been asked. Of course, he wants to do it. Really, he gave me every possible answer. Yes, no, and maybe. Yes, he'd do it. But that did get picked up by one website. But it was bad timing in terms of me trying to bring some people towards the channel, because at the same time Felicity Jones talked about perhaps bringing back Jyn again. So this is comicbook.com talking about my interview with Alistair Petrie, which, if you haven't already, you should go and watch. And also, please leave your feedback on it as well, because it's the first kind of new look. These are the actors you're looking for. Abdul, you're waiting for part 2 of that interview. I don't know if there is a part 2. I've probably got some more clips I can put out for sure. I did cut a lot out because I'm trying to keep them under 10 minutes. I went back in time and looked at some of the older ones back in the glory days when I got views beyond you guys, the crew. That's not going to stick, the crew. We'll find a better name. And it seemed that the shorter episodes got the views. Yeah, what about Simon Drake? What about Felicity as twinner? So, avenging her dead twin sister. You never know. But while we're on the subject of Star Wars, the other story that I had, so we've covered Jurassic World wrapping, i.e. me just rambling about it for a few minutes whilst everybody else was witnessing buffering. Wonder Woman, I think we're all mostly on the same page that it's going to get delayed again. December 26th is too soon. But Boba, what about Boba? Marco, I'm going to have to look into this. The Vow. Does anybody else know about The Vow on Netflix? A documentary about there's lots of celebrities in it, and Aunt Beru. Is Aunt Beru in it? Is that what you're telling me? Skywalker Sound. Now, let me tell you something before we go on to the Boba story. Skywalker Sound has asked a question: is the theme music for Lightspeed Tonight going to be Jizz? Of course, the classic character. Nothing to do with the Vow documentary, I'm sure. It is the classic genre. that shows up in the Cantina Band. That is the official, as according to Wikipedia, genre for the music, the famous Cantina Band song. No, I don't think it is going to be the genre for Lightspeed Tonight. But someone who could answer that question better than me is Vince. If Vince is still in the group, the chat, Vince created the theme tune for Lightspeed Tonight, and if I was technically and physically and emotionally more able to, I would find a way of playing it to you now as a little exclusive, but we'll have to save that for next week, because I haven't a clue what to do. So let's talk about Boba. Abdul, I forgive you. You don't need to apologise. I forgive you. I mention all sorts of things, and most of them aren't true, are never going to happen. So really, it should be me apologising to you. I'm sorry, Abdul. Right, so let's talk about Boba. I can't keep up with this. This is one of the latest articles on it. Boba Fett mini-series. So obviously Boba popped up at the start of The Mandalorian, or the end of the first episode of The Mandalorian, season 2, and then we didn't see him in the next episode, which to me was a bit odd. I said in my review, I assumed the ambush would be something to do with Boba wanting his armor back. Of course it wasn't, and then we moved on. Frog Lady showed up. There was all sorts of egg-based controversies, and no more mention of Boba. So I saw one theory. Brad Snoke, by the way, I don't think he's here, but Brad Snoke originally alerted me to this talk of a spin-off series. But before he alerted me to that, I'd seen a theory somewhere that perhaps they were actually retiring Boba's character by just giving him that cameo to sort of give us all a bit of closure, but at the same time, it's a cliffhanger. I have now looked at these mini-series stories, and the thing is, the websites that are now talking about it are fairly legit. So this is NME, but they're basing their article on Deadline. You know, Deadline is a proper Hollywood trade. They're, you know, like I have some sort of shambolic journalism, proper journalism training from my time at the BBC, and I know about what sources you're meant to trust. If it's not a trustworthy source, you'll have to go and get a second source, sometimes a third source, to verify something before you go with it. And, you know, Deadline would be a source that you would trust. So the fact that they're talking about this mini-series, I think there could be some truth to it. But the interesting thing is, or perhaps the confusing thing here is, that they're talking about this Boba Fett miniseries possibly even beginning shooting either this week or next week. But didn't they say The Mandalorian season 3 was going to be shooting around this time, you know, by the end of the year? So I'm wondering if there's a bit of confusion blurring those two together. For me personally, I think it could happen purely because it seems to have gone beyond the kind of, I guess, fan theories, rumours on sort of maybe sites that you wouldn't trust necessarily off the bat. So I think now it possibly could happen, but do I want it personally? I don't think I need it anymore, because obviously Boba Fett, I've been going back through my old interviews, updating the thumbnails and stuff. And Jeremy Bulloch, the original Boba Fett, was the first Star Wars interview I did for YouTube. And I remember back then, you know, this was pre The Force Awakens. Back then, we were talking about a Boba Fett film, because I remember asking him who he'd like to replace him. And he said Daniel Radcliffe, by the way. And even then, all that time ago, we were talking about that. And we're still talking about it now. And back then, I did think it was a cool idea, and it was something I was excited about. But right now, I think we've got enough. I know he's not a proper Mandalorian, but we've got enough Mandalorian in our lives, and I prefer this Mando to fake Mando Boba, to be honest. So I don't think it's something we necessarily, or I personally necessarily, need anymore. I'm quite Happy now to be introduced to new characters, new worlds. Equally, at the same time, I'm very excited about Kenobi. If it did happen, miniseries only, surely, like Kenobi is apparently going to be. So let's see what you guys think in terms of Boba. Tristan Peterson says, I do not think this will happen. It could, but I think his story will be told in The Mandalorian. Yeah, so maybe of the vault, as they call it, or is it the volume? Not the vault, the volume in LA. Then maybe it's for Mandalorian season 3. They're moving on with the story. They're going from so many different sort of side stories with the Mandalorian. Perhaps they're now saving him for season 3. Because also, if they're going into production of a Boba Fett miniseries at the same time as the Mandalorian season 3, also Kenobi. Now I know Kenobi is mostly being based in the UK, Pinewood, but I believe they are doing some filming at the volume as well. I mean, how big is this volume? How many volumes have they got? Right, so Tristan doesn't think it will happen as a Sige Beretian. I've got to not murder your name anymore. I'm going to sort of do some lessons. I'm going to repeat it over and over again, 100 times before I come on air next time. With Boba, I feel like Mando is the Boba series we always wanted. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I feel it would be similar to Mando. I'm happy for him to show up in Mando. You know what? I am with you on that completely. With you, Abdul. I had your comment. It's gone. Here it is. So, do we think we're definitely not seeing Boba for the rest of the season, and instead we wait for the alleged Boba series? Well, if we don't see Boba again in this series, we could see him again in the third series, couldn't we? I don't know. I'm completely torn in terms of whether it will happen. I know I'm not particularly bothered about it personally, but with Deadline getting involved, with Deadline, they'll have a source. They'll have a legit source that from Lucasfilm, that has essentially said it's okay for you to go with this story, because Deadline will not want to, mess up ties with Lucasfilm or Disney. They work together on these kind of things. So there seems to be something there. That's the thing. But is it getting blurred into the Mandalorian season 3? Skywalker Town and Vince have been chatting about Jizz. That's good to see. Simon Drake. Disney are clearly getting more money from shows, streaming traffic than the cost and return of movies. And also we talked about the cost of movies. The cost of movies has gone up big time with COVID productions anyway, as we were talking about with Jurassic World. All those extra sinks you've got to get. 150 hand sanitizing stations as well installed at Pinewood Studios. Philip Hawkins is thinking, perhaps it's a season 3 thing. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. Thank you for all these comments, by the way. Skywalker Sounds wants him again in this season. I want him to show up in this season. I'm definitely happy for him to show up in The Mandalorian. I just don't necessarily feel the need for a whole series, whether it's a mini one or not, based on him. CSI Naboo, that could be another one. See, Disney Plus, it's the platform that can potentially keep on giving. Sam James, do you think we will have a live-action Rex in Mando season 2? Well, that was one of the things, wasn't it? When the initial Boba rumor, circa 2020, early 2020, when it was leaked that he was going to show up or potentially show up, some people were like, well, hang on a second, it could be Rex, that Tamira Morrison's playing here. It could be both. So that is certainly still a possibility. I'm hoping there is some surprise in this season that hasn't been leaked or rumoured about for us. I don't know, spoiler alert, there's a baby Yoda, although it's not really a baby. It's 50 years old and it's not a Yoda species, the child, yeah. Sorry if you're hearing about this for the first time, but of course in the UK, we didn't have the release like you did in the US of season 1, so that was spoiled on Twitter instantly for me, so I never got that big surprise. I'd like something from Mando season 2. Pedro Pascal will not return to the role after his tweet the other day. Is that still raging, those rumours about Pedro being unhappy in the role, in the helmet and the armour specifically? I thought that was all sort of debunked. Jetster's Diner. Green is not a creative colour. I'd like Boba to take over from Din as the child's protector. But Boba can't be trusted, can he? Boba's not a good guy, is he? You know, like at the start of season 1, Din came across as being quite cold and, you know, mean-spirited, only in it for the money. And, you know, he's shown his softer side. His character has developed in that direction. So I think Boba would turn him in. Boba would turn the child in to the highest bidder, I would have thought. Yeah, Charlie Ashby, season 2 is just leading up to a team being built, Avengers style. Trevor Random, you can get a 7-day trial of Disney Plus, mate, and see what you've... The Last Jedi has led you boycotting Disney Plus. Well, you know what? I only signed up for Disney Plus like just before Mandalorian season 2 started. And I'm mostly there for the Mandalorian. I'll probably stop the subscription after the Mandalorian, but one day it's going to be like Netflix, isn't it? The catalogue's going to be huge and diverse. So it doesn't seem like something you should boycott over a film you didn't like. Come on, Trevor. A Wampa horror movie. I'm liking this direction that Simon's taking it in. Let's pitch these Disney Plus spin-offs that we would like to see, or at least we would like to see, but we know that will never get made, like a Wampa horror movie, trapped in a frozen shack, attacked by Wampas. You reckon an evil Yoda, you reckon an evil child green is not a colour, creative colour? Well, some people are suspicious now, aren't they, of the child's intentions after Egggate. NJ, thank you for the heart. I heart you too. Darth Maul tap dance special. So you can have these kind of these weird spin-offs, couldn't you? Did anyone see? I've only watched the first episode and I can't remember its name now. But that chat show on Disney Plus, hosted by the Alien. These aliens are about to take over Earth, and actually they get obsessed with like pop culture and they start their own chat show. It's quite fun. So you could do something like that within the Star Wars universe, or just commission Lightspeed Tonight, which is sort of along those lines. Something Boffin story. Yep, that's the one. That's the one. Pitch that, Abdul. Pitch it. Vince would totally watch a Sopranos-style Disney Plus show about the Hutts. I would, to be honest. Tristan, the first person in the chat. He's back. We need a movie about the best Star Wars character, Makili, aka the Rancor Keeper. Yeah, from Return of the Jedi. I want that actor on These Are the Actors You're Looking For. And he is still alive. You know, obviously he's still emotionally tormented by his experience in the film. But I really want to get him on, just for the hell of it, really, and for you, Tristan, of course. Bib Fortuna detective drama. Bib Fortuna pet detective. I thought I was about to read there. Yeah, can I just? I just want to. I am going to get better at this. I promise. Like I said, I'm at least going to try. So I'm gonna work more on the features and create more exciting graphics. You all want to see Geek Salad again? Yeah, healthy dose of the week's news, the Week in Geek. But also this community thing I want to do where I pay homage to a subscriber, whether it be because they always show up in the chat, the comments, the likes, or whatever, or if because of that as well, they've done something that I think is pretty cool. So I want to tell you a little bit about something, a mini documentary. It's not my own. It's called Duel of the Skates. And I'm going to put a link in the description to this a little bit later on, because this is a second stream that I had to start. If anybody can actually put it in the chat now, that would be cool. If you go on YouTube and type in Duel of the Skates. It's a mini documentary produced by Chad Campbell, who is a regular in the comments on the channel for a long time now. And he has made a mini documentary where ice hockey team, the K-Wings, of Kalamazoo, Michigan. I hope I've said Kalamazoo correctly. I've murdered enough names in this stream, and they attempt to break the world record for the largest lightsaber battle duel ever. So before they tried, what they had to beat was 3,500 lightsabers dueling, which is a lot of lightsabers. So they were going to do it. Their attempt was to do it in their arena, which fits a capacity of 5,000 people. So if they could sell out the arena, they're gonna break that record. But yeah, whether they do it or not, I'll let you watch the doc to see if they do. It's 15 minutes long. It's made by Chad Campbell, as I mentioned. He's a Star Wars fan. He's a fan of the channel. And it is really well made. And it's actually interesting as well to see how thorough the Guinness Book of Records, guys are there. The Guinness guys are there. It's interesting to see how thorough they are and actually how complicated the process is as well. So I will put the link in the description to this when the video goes on to replay. If anybody can put it in the chat for anybody that wants to go and look at it now. But anyways, Duel of the Skates by Chad Campbell. It is worth a watch, just 15 minutes long, as I mentioned. You were looking up Duel of the Skates. No, Duel, lightsaber duel. In fact, I've got some pictures I'm going to show you to prove. There we are, Duel of the Skates. Not Duel, Skywalker Sound. Silly Skywalker Sound. And this is cool. Look at that. Look at all those lightsabers. Like a Justin Bieber concert, because we all know about Justin Bieber concerts, don't we? When everybody gets their phones out and starts waving them. I believe back in the day they were lighters before phones. This is what it would look like. This is what a concert would look like in the Star Wars universe during the one of the slower numbers, I like to think. So that's a still from the documentary. It's cool. Go and have a look at it. Duel of the Skates. And finally, I'm figuring this out as I go along here, the technology. Duel of the Skates. There we go. Yeah. I'm just changing a light. Hang on. Just had to change a light bulb. All right, everybody. So if you were here at the start, I don't know if I was buffering or not, but you might have heard me say, let you know that this whole place is temporary. Like we are temporary. Life is temporary. I at the moment have no power. I have no power in this room that I am streaming from and now using to record the videos. Everything is charged in advance, and everything's starting to die. I've just changed a light battery. Obviously, I am hoping at one point to be able to get some actual power so I can go on longer, but I'm going to have to wrap this up in the next few minutes. If not, it's just going to get wrapped up for me because the laptop battery is going to go. But, baby steps, it's all a work in progress. I'm just going to go through the recent comments. Sorry if I've missed any. Trevor Random, still not happy. Will Motion. Earth to Ned, yeah, Earth to Ned. Check out Earth to Ned after you've seen Duel of the Skates, of course. Yeah, Vince, don't worry. Earth to Ned is not that similar to Lightspeed Tonight. We're okay. I think we're okay, Vince. Skywalker, he is such a likable guy. Yeah, he is a likable guy. I'll talk about this another day. Actually, I don't mean to do plugs all the time because the Patreon really is something that needs to grow. There's not a lot of exclusive content there yet for people, but something I am doing on the Patreon is talking about releasing an episode once a month of the behind the scenes stories about the interviews, and obviously what you see on screen isn't necessarily what happened at the time. And Billy, he is a likable guy, but it was at times an awkward experience. Same with Dave Prowse, mostly because I filled his house full of dry ice, which his wife specifically told me not to do. But I will be telling those stories over on the Patreon, and I'll have to stop talking because I'll just tell them now. That's what I'm like. If I don't, and then everyone will unsubscribe from Patreon. Right. Oh, I've had a chat. Is that Ken Knapsock? Ken Knapsock, thank you very much, mate. I don't know how this works. I find Ken Knapsock with 5 of the US dollars, the USDs. I find Jamie's news show and hair pleasing. Thank you, Ken. I don't know what you find more pleasing. The hair, I don't know what's more of a mess, actually, the hair or the show so far. Mostly down to technical issues and just me, to be honest. But thank you, Ken. I owe you a beer. Let's have a beer in LA. I hope to be there. I hope to be there in June next year, and maybe after yesterday's news, that is a step closer to being a reality. 16% on the laptop battery. Should I just keep going until the battery dies? Right, let me go back to the comments. Thoughts on Lego Star Wars Holiday Special? Personally, I'm not counting down the days to its release, Philip, but I'll watch it. You know, probably not on day one, but yeah, it'll be fun, won't it? It'll be fun. It'll be fun. How are others feeling about the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special? It's not something, like I said, I'll count down the days to, but I will watch it when I feel the time is appropriate, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I imagine it would be good hangover viewing. I haven't had many hangovers this year because I haven't been going out. I imagine I'm not exclusive to that lifestyle these days. The Plight of the Dying Gungans, a documentary by Werner Herzog. Simon Drake. Pod Race, the Fast and the Furious movie. Yeah, I'm over pod racing at the moment, which you might find out a bit about when I release Lightspeed tonight. It's been dominating my editing of late. Ken, there is a Lightspeed Tonight, which is a new show I'm going to release on the channel soon. There is a Lightspeed Tonight kind of connection here, not only with Vince, who we've talked about, who's in the chat, but Ken as well. Ken has helped me out with Lightspeed Tonight as well. So there's an exclusive for you all. Don't do this to me now. Sij Berashi on